In today's world, we have so many distractions. We begin to scroll on social media, and within moments we thought, wow, an hour just passed. And really, so I was looking at one individual's social media, and he speaks about productivity. And he said he made a commitment that for 1 month, he's not going to go on social media. For 1 month. So he said the first few days it was so difficult, it was so challenging because we're so used to it. We're sitting down, open the phone, start to scroll. Is there any email? Is there any text message? Is there any message? Do I need to message someone? What people talking about? Oh, where's that person eating? Where's that person traveling? Right? Let me see that person's biceps, and let me see that person's gym routine. Right? So that's what we're doing. And hours passed by. He said the first few days it was so challenging. I was like getting withdrawals. So this shows that we become addicted to distractions. He says, but after the first week, within 1 month, I was able to write an entire book in place of the time that I used to go on social media. This is just one simple example, right? So if we don't guard time, if we don't utilize it properly, it'll pass away. Ask any of the uncles, mashallah. Ask any of the uncles that, what do you regret? And someone will tell you, I wish I did this when I had more stamina and energy. I wish I went here, I wish I did this, but it's just too late now. It's just too late now because of the difficulties and the challenge that come with age and with time. So as I conclude here, I just want to mention one aspect related to time, and that is Muslims, believers, should be those who are scheduled, those who are guardful of their time. They should be precise about their time. And when we are punctual, when we guard our time, when we are organized with our time, we will be very productive. And we will see ourselves becoming successful day by day. We will see ourselves accomplishing what we feel that we cannot accomplish. If you study the life of any successful person, whether in the deen or the dunya, whether in reference to the religion or in reference to the worldly life, you will find one common denominator is they are very disciplined people. They are very disciplined people. People who have mastered any science or any achievement, we only see the outcome, we only see the results and the fame and the wealth and the position or the knowledge. But behind all of that is so much discipline. It's so much hard work. It's so much commitment. And that is the result. I'm sure you've seen the infographic where they show the mountain, but underneath the mountain there's deeper roots going down into the depths of the water. And that's all the hard work no one sees. We only see that elevation. We only see that mountain on top of the water. So again, when we guard our time, what happens immediately, it shows that we are competent. It shows that we can be relied upon. Part of my portfolio as an imam in Toronto is I officiate nikahs. And there's a common, it really irks me. It really disturbs me. There's a common statement that so many Muslims say, unfortunately, and they say it with pride. Sheikh, I know we told you 7 p.m., but you know how it is, brother. You know how it is, the nikahs and the weddings. And the first time I heard it, I thought, okay, 15, 20 minutes, that's understood, things happen. But sometimes 1 hour, sometimes 2 hours, right? And like not one person, like so many weddings, they say, you know how it is, brother. Because I always tell them, tell me the exact timing of the nikah. I will come 10, 15 minutes before, officiate the nikah and take leave. So then that way, I'm not wasting too much time. And I tell them in advance, let me know. If there's a change, let me know, inform me. So mashallah, for the most part, people do tell you in advance, but this is a common statement. And they say it with pride. You know how it is, brother? So I respond and say, no, as Muslims, we should be very particular with our time because it's a commitment, it's a promise, it's like a contract, it's like a transaction. And we will be questioned by Allah. We will be questioned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala about our commitments. So, when we guard time, it shows that we are competent. It shows that we are reliable. It shows that we are honest. It shows that we not only respect ourselves, we also respect others. So, just this one aspect of being punctual, of guarding our time, it is the first stepping stone of appreciating this blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us of time, which really is priceless. Because as I said, if we don't have time, we can't do anything. If we don't have life, we can't do anything. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he once walked out of the masjid and he saw a group of youngsters. And they were talking, they were having a good time. Nothing wrong with that. We can talk outside the masjid, mashallah. But after a few hours, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud returned back to the masjid and he saw the very same youth sitting in the very same place, joking around and still talking. And he felt sad. He felt sad. He said, do you not find something that you can do with your time other than this that will give you some progress either in your deen or your dunya? Either in your religious matters or your material matters, instead of hours sitting and gossiping and wasting the time. So we see the students of the Prophet Muhammad, the Sahaba radiallahu anhu, how they guarded their time, and they saw what would cause the downfall of the ummah. And that's why they made these remarks. And that's why they did this. You know, all of this entertainment industry, it's all distraction. But the people who design them, they don't watch this. They don't use this. They don't allow their children even to use this or consume this, because they know it'll destroy them. Right? It'll destroy them. So this is why we have to be careful in guarding our time. So, couple of ways that we can be amongst those who guard time and who appreciate this resource that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. Number one is always do things in advance. If you know you have an assignment that's due on such and such a day, don't leave it for the last minute. Right? Because all kinds of things can happen. All kinds of last minute things that can happen. So you rather complete everything. Make a deadline before the actual deadline for yourself. And you got to be honest to yourself. Forget about others and forget about the professor or the teacher or anybody else. If you're not honest to yourself, how is someone else going to believe that you are honest? If you're not honest to yourself, you tell yourself, I'm going to start eating healthy. But you break that promise to yourself. You say you're going to pray all your salah on time, but you break the promise to your own self. You say you're going to write this and you're going to accomplish this, but you have no plan and you fool yourself. Years go by and you say, I still want to do that. Right? So we have to make sure that we are honest to ourselves and do things in advance. The Prophet ﷺ said, إِنَّ اللَّهَ يُحِبُّ الْعَبْدَ الْمُحْتَرِفِ. Allah loves the servant of His who is meticulous, who is precise, who is professional, who is up to date, up to par. Right? So this includes doing things on time. Right? Another method is, at home, my clocks, they're like 10 minutes ahead. They're 10 minutes ahead. Right? Why? So that I'm teaching my children, I'm teaching my household, my family, that when we need to do something, we have to do it before the actual time. And it gets them into the regiment of being consistent and being on time and being punctual. Right? So this is from the teachings of Islam. As Shaykh Ashraf Ali Thanwi rahimahullah, he said that we think the deen is only ibadah, is only worship. But the deen is actually our mu'amalat, the way we have dealings, our social matters, which includes our meetings, our functions. It includes all of this, our rights and responsibilities with family and others, neighbors, so on and so forth. So this is all part of our deen. It's not only ibadah. And the first decline of deen, it happens in all these other places, in all these other branches of our deen. Character, akhlaq, mu'amalat, mu'asharat, right? Our social matters, our dealings, our character. The decline first happens there. And then finally the ibadat, right? So we have to be careful that even the time that we have to guard. I'll conclude with two personal stories. So Sheikh Wahba az-Zuhaili, mashallah, the ulama probably know who the Sheikh is, a great Syrian scholar. And he's written a monumental work called Al-Fiqh al-Islami wa Adillatuhu. Al-Fiqh al-Islami wa Adillatuhu. Basically, it's a manual of the four madhahib, the four schools of Islamic jurisprudence, and their dala'il, their evidences, their proofs from the Quran and the Hadith. So Shafi'i madhab, they say this is your ruling in this matter, this is their evidence. Hanafi madhab, in that same matter, they say this is their position, this is their evidence from the Quran and Hadith. Hanbali, Maliki, etc. And on my shelf it looks like this big, right? So many volumes. So he came to visit Toronto, and I had the honor to spend some time with him. So I sat down with him. I said, I use your book for references many a time. So I have a question. How long did it take you to write this? Because it's an amazing manual. So he said, 6 years. I said, wow, 6 years? So he told me, you know what? I'm a professor in a university in Dimashq. So when you're a professor, all day you're teaching, you're instructing. He has a family. He said at least, I believe, 4 or 5 children. And all of them, by the way, are professionals. A couple of them live in Canada. One's in America. MashaAllah, very well respected. So he did the tarbiyah of his children, that they've reached this status and they're good Muslims and also good in the dunya as well. And obviously a wife. A wife requires our time, right? So I asked him, where did you get the time to write this in 6 years? So he said, my schedule for those 6 years was, I didn't write during the day because I was in the university. I didn't write after coming back from work because I have family commitments. Every single day, my schedule was wake up 3 a.m., perform tahajjud prayer, and write. For 6 years, whether it's hadar or safar, whether I'm at home or I'm in travel, whether it's rain or shine, I'm writing. 3 a.m. you will find me writing. And that was the consistency, the value of time that led to this manual. And mashallah, as I said, the scholars of the world are benefiting from that. So a great example of how we value our time. One last final story before we, inshallah, invite our dear Sheikh Altaf up here, is Sheikh Abdullah Kapodrawi, rahimahullah. Great scholar of the subcontinent. He has passed away now, but he spent a considerable amount of his life in Toronto. And he is one of the founders of Falahud Darain, which is a great Darul Uloom and an institution in India. Many scholars, many of our teachers, they are part of this organization. So Sheikh Abdullah Kapodrawi, I've never seen a scholar so punctual with his time like him. If he ever told anybody that I'm coming to meet you at 10 a.m., he would be there at 9:30. And if someone invited him to a wedding or a function, and he asked them, okay, what time would you like me to be there? Even if it was a jalsa or a program, and they said 5 p.m., and he would be there 4:30. And he would ask, how much time do you need from me? 1 hour, half an hour, whatever it is. He would precisely be there half an hour before. And if things don't happen on time, he would actually he said, I have to leave. You asked for this time, I gave my time, and now even if the program had not even started, he wouldn't wait around. Because he said, they need me, I don't need them. They have invited me, I came on the time they gave me. So he said, I am very guardful of my time, and this is what I have been taught, this is what I've been seeing my teachers do, and it's a part of my life. And everybody knew, if you invite Sheikh Abdullah Kapodrawi, things have to start on time. whether it is one individual or whether there's hundreds. And he didn't matter. For him, it was nothing. Even if there's one person, he would start the dars, he would start the bayan, he would start the discourse. So what we learn from all of this, the whole point is that, mashallah, Allah has blessed us with time. Allah has blessed us with health and resources. And we will hear the tafsir of Al-Asr, Surah Al-Asr. And the whole beginning of this surah is the value of this time. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us amongst those who value time, who value and appreciate the resources and do our best with them. Wa akhiru da'wana anil hamdulillahi rabbil alameen.